Hey, it's Barb. And this week in my core confidence class, this question came up. It's actually a comment and a question, and I want to share it with you and then share some thoughts with you. It's a fine line between intimidation and strong leadership. Is it fear and an insecurity, and I think she means on the part of the writer, that causes us to cross the line? And how do we realize the difference? I really, because this is something that's important to me and something that's really a foundation part of everything I teach, I really wanted to respond to this question with all of you. So I have some notes here, and I'm going to take it kind of, step by step. So she says that there's a fine line between imitation, that's good, intimidation and strong leadership. And how do you know the difference? So we are definitely the leaders with our horses. It is our role to be a leader. I think it depends upon what the definition is for each rider of strong leadership. So for some people, it might be, to make sure almost like you have this power over that that someone, that you make sure your horse toes the line. And I think that it is important for a horse to be mannerly, responsive, understand. But it's the way that we get there that really matters. And for me, it's really not about intimidation. For me, as a rider and with a horse, strong leadership equates to building confidence with a horse. And building confidence with the horse means going step by step, applying a cue or a sequence of cues, how much of that cue, and then releasing the cue or the pressure so that the horse knows that they gave the right response. And what happens in intimidation, and when people kind of get too harsh, it's because somehow the steps are out of sequence, or they think more is better rather than looking at some other aspect of it. And this is what's key to me. I believe that whether it's with people or with horses, that the most important thing that we can do is build confidence. I am not interested personally in any kind of intimidation again, or that feeling of power over. I'm interested in developing potential, being a team member, and constant learning. So I think that strong leadership needed to be defined. Then the second part is, when do you know when you're crossing the line? So we all get emotional when we ride our horses, and we think about what's happening, and we want a lead change, or we want to cut a cow, or we want a canter departure, or whatever it is that we want, and we're not getting it. So we start to get frustrated, or we start to get angry, or we get nervous. And all of those things are crossing the line in terms of, in a different way perhaps than this was meant. But the way that we get what we want is to remain in a state of being very calm and very clear, even through the frustration. So the answer to the question is, how do we know, is we make becoming aware of our own emotions very important, and then using thinking tools and body tools to come back to a state of emotion, of calmness and clarity and focus that allows us to figure out the next step or just maybe pause for a little while until we can get grounded again. So the answer, how do you know when you're crossing the line, is to make self-awareness a practice all the time when we ride. You know, it's a lifelong part of riding. And so that's the main thing that I have to tell you. I think that it's a natural thing just in our everyday life, and certainly in riding, we feel frustrated and can get angry and all kind of out of sorts. We feel it in our everyday lives too. And I think when you have the value that those emotional states, while they're natural, and it's not that we're not trying to never be there because it's part of human life, but that the way back to where we want to be is to acknowledge it and to come back to a state of calmness by what we think and what we do with our body and with our horses. That the ultimate riding is to be in that state and to be so connected to them that we're all about giving them what they need, showing them the way, and developing their confidence. So there you go. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment for me, and have a great week.